or hi. Cartagena, the city in Spain, in autonomous community Murcia. The name happens from the ancient city of Carthage. Cartagena was founded by Carthaginians. Romans called it New Carthage. The population -214,802 inhabitants. For 2019. Saint Genesee, the maiden Milosodne are considered as patrons of the city and David El Rosal. There are reliable proofs of prehistoric settlements in all territory of the municipal unit Cartagena as, for example, the Los Amaladras field in La Manga. On all coast the set of archaeological finds, such as Iberian settlement near Los Nitos, fragments of the Phoenician ships is made. All this serves as the proof of intensive industrial and trade activity in all territory de Minor Sierra. Concerning the city on the place of Cartagena existing nowadays, the most ancient mentions send us to the city of Mastia, the Iberian and Tarteschi settlement, mentions of which belong to the 4th century BB and which is traditionally connected with Cartagena. The first exact mention of the city settlement belongs to 227 BB and says that the Carthago military leader Gasdrubal Crosavi founded the Carthage city. The new city, having provided thus control over rich mineral fields of the southeast. Parts of Hadasht turned into the main base of the Phoenician kingdom founded by Hannibal in Spain. From this city he went to the well-known victorious military campaign with elephants to Italy, having passed through the Alps and having begun in 218 BB. The Second Punic War. In 209 BB Cartagena was captured by the Roman commander Scipio Africanski. The city was renamed into Carthago Nova, New Carthage, and turned into one of the most important cities of the Roman Republic in Spain. In the 44th year BB Carthago Nova was the third after Tarraco and Cordoba the city of Spain which received the status of the Roman colony and the name Colonia verbs Iulia Nova Carthago, and operated by citizens according to the Roman rite. In the course of a Romanization, the Emperor Octavian Augustus reconstructed the city, having sponsored construction of a forum and monumental Roman theatre. About 425 the city was plundered by the Vandals going on Africa. The city had to respond to the attacks of Vandals, and in 461 the Emperor Mauryan brought together in the city the fleet from 45 ships with intention to intrude in North Africa, to return one by Vandals and to restore the Roman Empire in former borders. The Battle of Cartagena ended with big defeat. The Roman Armada was completely broken. After fall of the Western Roman Empire and establishment in Spain of the power of the German kings, about 550, Cartagena was conquered by the Byzantine Emperor Justinian I, and Spartaria was turned into the capital of the province Spain of the Byzantine Empire under the name of Carthago. About 622 years Visigoths under Svantila's leadership took and, according to Saint Isidore, completely devastated and destroyed the city that became the reason of his deep decline. However, it is known that in 675, when signing one of Acts of the Toledo Consultation, the signature of Manulu, the Bishop of Cartagena, appears. What means that at this time in the city there was a residence of the bishop. The beginning of local honoring of the Saint Genesia, who became one of heavenly patrons of Cartagena, belongs to the same time. At the time of the Arab dominion the city felt a certain enthusiasm. There was a mosque and a strengthened citadel on the present mountain Concepcion. In 1245 the Castilian Prince Alfonso, the little later become the King Alfonso X, won the city. Having already become the king, he restored the episcopate of Cartagena, and in 1270 created the Award of Priest Soldiers of Saint Maria Hispanskaya for sea protection of the Kingdom Castilian, which founded the main residence in Cartagena. Several years after Reconquista, the episcopate was transferred to Murcia, that considerably slowed down city and economic development and also growth of the population of Cartagena. In 1296 the city took over the Aragonese corona that was fixed by the arbitral award in Torrellasa, but the contract of 1305 returned him to Elche to Castilian corona again. Cartagena was recognized by important commercial and naval port. Besides initiatives of such kings as Pedro I Castilci didn't stop development of very tectonics and construction of the city, though his population was small. In 1464 the King Enrique IV favors Cartagena with her locks, the right for court and collecting taxes, Pedro Fiado, who remains the seigneur of territories till an era of Catholic kings. In 1503 the Queen Isabella I Catolicaskaya ordered to return the city with all rights to the power of a crown. Since Charles I and Philip II's board, the military and defensive role of Cartagena considerably increases. Cartagena turns into base for royal galleys and a military enclave, walls become stronger and some fortification constructions, for example to Fuerte de Navidad, the Christmas fort, are built. However, growth of the population strongly lagged behind development of the city, owing to the fact that the city endured several devastating epidemics of bubonic plague these centuries. Epidemic of 1648, when in 3 months 14,000 inhabitants died, was especially heavy. The port of Cartagena turned into the main base of military and political influence of the Spanish kings on the Mediterranean that belonged both to their position in Italy, and to control of power of Turks and Berbers. Throughout these centuries of change of the city consist in formation of various monasteries, allowing to locate in the city by it to awards as Dominicans, Augustinians and Franciscans, every time sending to spiritual council of the petition about increase in number of parishioners who systematically deviated by him. Monasteries formed a certain city landscape, and monastic ordina operating them directed cultural, religious life of Cartagena and also sanitation questions, throughout all the 17th century. The throughout war for inheritance of the Spanish throne, the city was on the party Austrasistov. Supporters of inheritance of a throne by successors of the very Duke Carlos. Cartagena endured big rise at accession to the throne of a dynasty of Bourbons. During this period becomes the capital of the Mediterranean Sea Department. The city space extends with construction of a new military wall which increases the square of the concluded city in her. The set of the military facilities, fundamental as the arsenal and several fortresses around a wall, for example, the sea hospital now given for the Polytechnical University of Cartagena is under construction. Process of confiscation in Spain provokes full closing in Cartagena of monasteries and, as a result, a set of changes in city life, opening of gardens and the areas. At the same time, Cantonal Revolution. July 1873, January 1874 was the most important event in the 19th century. The city, under the leadership of Antoinette Gavs, rose against central office in protection of the principles of federalism.
Loss of the last colonies by Spain during war with the USA of 1898 had a considerable impact on Cartagena, both because of need of restoration of the lost navy, and because of revival of extraction of ore on Sierra of the Miner in the area Cartagena, La Union, which began in the 20th century on all region, and most of which direct consequence construction in the city of a large number of modernist buildings was. At the beginning of the 20th century, cultural life of Cartagena also endured considerable development before the Spanish Civil War of 1936-1939 broke up. These years Cartagena was the only naval base remaining under the control of the Republic and the last city in safety occupied risen on March 31, 1939. The second half of the 20th century is noted by development of power and production of fertilizers and also military shipbuilding.
Now Cartagena is a part of the autonomous community region Murcia. Here, as in the legislative capital of the province, there is a regional assembly. Besides, it is the capital of the sea province Cartagena, according to the Royal Certificate of October 5, 1607 of the King Philip III. Sites: Roman Theatre, Cartagena Cathedral, Arsenal in Cartagena, Cape Palos and Beacon. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.